Have you ever wondered how ancient civilizations without telescopes or satellites could conceive ideas that modern physicists are only now beginning to explore? Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating mysteries of human history, a mystery that spans stars, time, and the mind itself. As astrophysicists now suggest the existence of multiverses or parallel universes, it's astonishing to realize that this isn't a new concept at all. In fact, it's an idea that appears almost verbatim in the ancient Hindu texts known as the Puranas. These writings, including the Bhagavata Purana and the Shiva Purana, discuss the possibility of countless worlds, each unfolding and dissolving in endless cycles. Throughout history, certain civilizations have dazzled us with their architectural genius, astronomical precision, and philosophical depth. Think of the majestic pyramids of Egypt, the advanced calendar systems of the Mayans, or the engineering brilliance of the Roman aqueducts. And yet, hidden behind the veils of time is the story of a civilization that not only rivaled these wonders, but perhaps even surpassed them in intellectual depth: the ancient Hindu civilization. The legacy of this civilization is both profound and often overlooked. Its sacred texts do not merely recount mythological tales or moral lessons, they reveal insights into cosmology, physics, mathematics, and time itself. What if I told you that these texts describe the origin of the universe in terms strikingly similar to the Big Bang, or that Hindu sages proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system long before Copernicus? These aren't fanciful interpretations. They are documented passages found in Sanskrit verses written thousands of years ago. Let us now journey into the world of ancient Hindu science, a world where intellectual achievement reached such heights that modern scholars are still trying to decode its wisdom. One of the most mind-expanding aspects of Hindu cosmology is its concept of time. Unlike the linear timeline embraced by most ancient cultures, Hindu philosophy views time as cyclical. Time flows in vast epochs known as yugas, satya, treta, dvapara, and kali, which together make up a mahayuga. 1,000 mahayugas comprise one day in the life of Brahma the creator. This day of Brahma, known as a kalpa, lasts over 4.32 billion years. In Brahma's full lifespan, a staggering 311 trillion years. Pause for a moment. Trillion years. How did a civilization that predates modern scientific tools even conceptualize time on such a cosmic scale? What inspired their thinkers to see time not as a straight line, but as an eternal cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution? It's not just time, they also measured space with stunning precision. In the Rig Veda, one of the world's oldest texts, the Earth is described as spherical and in motion, rotating on its axis and orbiting the sun. This was long before the Western world accepted a heliocentric model. The Surya Siddhanta, an astronomical treatise from ancient India, includes remarkably accurate calculations of the Earth's diameter, the distances between planets, and even the length of a year. In fact, many of these values are shockingly close to those we now verify with modern instruments. And the surprises don't stop there. Hindu cosmology details not just one universe, but an infinite number of them, each born living and eventually dissolving only for new ones to emerge. Sound familiar? This parallels the modern multiverse theory, a concept explored today in quantum physics, string theory, and astrophysics. Carl Sagan, one of the most revered modern cosmologists, once said, "The Hindu religion is the only one of the world's great faiths dedicated to the idea that the cosmos itself undergoes an immense, indeed an infinite number of deaths and rebirths." These ancient sages, working without telescopes, particle accelerators, or even basic calculators, somehow envisioned a universe governed by cycles of endless transformation. Their scientific insight wasn't limited to the stars. Ancient India was a cradle of mathematical innovation. The very concept of zero, without which modern computing wouldn't exist, was invented in India. Mathematicians like Aryabhata and Brahmagupta made groundbreaking contributions to algebra, trigonometry, and even early forms of calculus. These discoveries would later form the backbone of global mathematical understanding, yet they emerged centuries before similar advancements in Europe. It's as if these ancient scholars had access to a form of knowledge that transcended their time. How could they map planetary movements, predict eclipses, and measure the tilt of the Earth's axis with such accuracy? Was it purely observation and intuition, or something more? As we continue our exploration in the next section, we'll dive deeper into the ancient Hindu understanding of gravity, atomic theory, and consciousness itself areas that once seemed mystical, but are now gaining scientific validation. Stay with us as we unlock the secrets of a civilization whose intellectual brilliance continues to echo across the cosmos. Subscribe to Deep Psyche, and let's journey together through the hidden wisdom of our ancestors. Picking up from the extraordinary advancements in mathematics and astronomy, we now turn to two more profound areas where the ancient Hindu civilization left an indelible mark: medicine and philosophy. Their genius didn't stop at numbers and stars. It extended deep into the workings of the human body and the mysteries of the human mind. The mathematical brilliance that laid the foundations for global progress included Aryabhata's remarkable work on the approximation of pi, which held remarkably accurate values centuries before it was understood elsewhere. Brahmagupta, another towering intellect, codified algebraic rules, including precise solutions for quadratic equations. These were not isolated discoveries, they were building blocks that shaped the mathematical frameworks used around the world today. But what is even more astonishing is how far-reaching their knowledge was in the field of medicine and surgery. While much of the ancient world struggled with rudimentary healing methods, ancient Indian texts such as the Sushruta Samhita and Charaka Samhita laid out complex surgical procedures, medicinal compounds, and anatomical studies with a depth that still amazes modern scholars. Sushruta, often called the father of surgery, documented procedures ranging from cataract surgery and cesarean sections to the reconstruction of noses rhinoplasty. These were not vague descriptions or symbolic metaphors. They were detailed accounts of actual surgical techniques performed with precision instruments, many of which have analogs in modern operating rooms. The text even describes antiseptic practices and methods of anesthesia concepts that would not become mainstream in the Western world until thousands of years later. How, one might wonder, did these ancient physicians attain such a sophisticated understanding of the human body and healing? Without microscopes, X-rays, or digital diagnostics, how could they diagnose and treat ailments with such accuracy? The answer in part lies in the unique philosophical framework that permeated Hindu culture. Unlike many ancient civilizations that compartmentalize religion, science, and philosophy, the Hindu worldview saw them as inherently interconnected. The pursuit of knowledge, jnana, was seen as both a spiritual and intellectual journey. This mindset fostered an open, empirical attitude toward discovery and experimentation. Meditation and yogic introspection, for instance, were not merely spiritual disciplines. They were tools of exploration, technologies of the inner world. Practitioners reported heightened states of awareness, improved perception, and a deeper connection to their bodies and environments. Could it be that these practices enhanced the observational and cognitive abilities of the sages and scholars who compiled these medical texts? In this worldview, science and spirituality were not at odds. They were two wings of the same bird guiding humanity toward deeper truths. This holistic approach to life and knowledge allowed the ancient Hindu civilization to explore the physical and metaphysical realms with equal reverence and rigor. Sadly, much of this rich scientific heritage has been overshadowed by centuries of turmoil. Invasions, colonization, and the systematic destruction or neglect of texts led to the erosion of vast repositories of knowledge. Oral traditions that once passed wisdom from generation to generation began to vanish, taking with them nuances and details that written records could not fully preserve. Yet even the fragments that have survived are enough to paint a vivid picture of a civilization that was intellectually centuries ahead of its time. We are left to marvel, how did such brilliance emerge from a world without electricity, telescopes, or laboratories? What was the secret behind their audacity to dream so far beyond their era? Perhaps the key lies in their unified view of reality. Where the modern world often separates logic from intuition and divides science from soul, the ancient Hindus wove these threads into a single tapestry. By refusing to confine themselves within rigid boundaries, they allowed knowledge to flourish across every domain. This approach birthed not only technical innovations, but philosophical revelations. It helped them understand the cosmos not just as a collection of atoms and stars, but as a living, breathing entity, a reflection of the self and the divine. Theirs was not a cold science, but a luminous one, animated by purpose and reverence. The implications of this ancient knowledge stretch far beyond the past. They invite us to reconsider the story we tell ourselves about progress. Is technological advancement always linear and always modern? Or can the heights of human insight emerge from civilizations long buried under the sands of time? Recognizing the contributions of the ancient Hindu civilization isn't just about honoring history, it's about awakening to possibility. It reminds us that our species has always had the capacity to reach for the stars, to peer inward with clarity, and to forge paths of understanding that defy expectation. These achievements are not relics locked in the past. They are eternal sparks still capable of lighting our imaginations. Whether we're decoding DNA, exploring black holes, or contemplating consciousness, we walk a path once laid down by sages who dared to dream beyond the limits of their age. And maybe, just maybe, the greatest lesson they offer us is this: that the pursuit of truth, scientific or spiritual, is not bound by time, technology, or tradition. It is and always has been a boundless, timeless, and universal quest.